to the Goody Room, your one-stop shop for everything movies, TV, and more. We know you want the goodies. Welcome back to the Goody Room. I'm your host, Matt the Nachos. With me always is Frankie Rock, the happy to my Tony Stark. How we doing today, Frank?
See, I'm doing great, and I like that much better than last episode's intro. Like, I'll be happy. You know, that guy lives the life.
What did you like about the last episode?
I just don't like you. There's that.
Is it just because you're on the council, but you're not a master?
Something like that, yeah. And maybe it's something to do with like you're there and I'm not there. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, that's just how it goes, I guess.
I guess so.
Anyways, we got a full episode for you here today. We got a little bit of need to know news. Get into streamer Botch, where we're going to talk about, Furiosa just came out in theaters. Frank got an opportunity to go see it. And we'll talk about X-Men 97 as well as Madam Web. We won't waste too much of your time on Madam Web. I already wasted about 2 hours of it a couple weeks ago. And then we'll get into Retro Counsel, where we're going to give you a retro recommendation that we think everyone should watch, and we'll save what that is until later in the episode. Frank, any comments before we get off and run in here?
Let's get after it.
Let's indeed get after it. First, need to know news, bit of sad news. Frank and I really wanted to kind of bring this up. This is something that we kind of grew up watching. It was a big documentary back in the day. But Morgan Spurlock, who was the creator of the documentary Super Size Me, passed away. And I really kind of felt it because, his documentary was so influential, really, at that period of time. So if you don't know, fast food restaurants used to have an option where you would supersize it, and it was like, it wasn't a large, it was like an extra, extra large.
Yeah, it was like the triple XL version of the French fry and soda.
Yeah, right. So what did he spent like 100 days or something?
No, it was just a month. It was a month of eating McDonald's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if they had asked him, do you want to supersize it? Because that was part of it too. They would, you could just order like a coffee and they'd be like, do you want to supersize it? The employees had to do it. If they asked him that, which they always did, he had to say yes. That was the part of the challenge.
Man, I really miss like it was that short of a time period. But yeah, he ate it for every single meal. And yeah, part of the challenge, like Frank said, if they said, do you want to supersize that? Which, he kept a tracker, I think, of that as well too. Like,
right.
He had to say yes. But you could just see the effects that it had on you eating fast food like that. And that's basically what it was kind of about.
Right. And, they got into a bunch of other different things with it as well. Like they showed just how fake the fast food really is and what it does to your body over time. And as Matt said, but they touched on a lot of topics. Ultimately, though, the documentary was such a big event and so influential, McDonald's decided to cancel the supersize size. So like you go to McDonald's now, they're not asking you if you want to supersize it.
Right. Yeah. And I think the nutritional facts were, I think, even part of that too. Like, cause a lot of times you didn't know like how much you were actually eating with some of these meals.
Right. Yeah. Essentially, all the fast food places had to start airing those particular dirty little secrets about themselves and what they were, I'm hesitant to say what they were doing to the people that ate the food, but ultimately the people are deciding to eat the food too. So it's just like, yeah, it's really difficult for me to point the finger, in any direction,
Isn't there a guy, he has like a record for like most eating Big Macs? Like he eats like a Big Mac like every day.
Yes. And this guy, I don't know if he's still alive, but like the last time I saw a photo of him, he looks as if he does not eat a Big Mac every day.
Right.
He just, he looks like super. He looks probably slimmer than I am, and I'm not. I'm not like poster child of health myself, but like he was super. He's skinny guy, and he's eating Big Macs every day. Must be nice,
Yeah, but this is one we kind of wanted to just bring attention to because it just goes to show you that movies like can really like touch your lives like just outside of pure entertainment, right? Like there's a
Right.
lot of lessons and other things to learn.
Well, not only that, and I'm going to bring this up. I have to bring it up. This movie, this documentary, could be argued part of like the genesis and foundation of Matt and I's friendship because when we were at school together, we had to take a health class, which was, you know, and I remember walking in the one day and seeing Matt sitting there, and we knew each other, but we weren't like good friends by any stretch of the imagination at that point. I said, "Oh, I guess I'll sit next to him." And they showed this the health teacher showed this documentary, and this we didn't finish it in one class period, so when the next time we came back to finish it, Matt and I brought McDonald's to eat as we watched it.
Did we? I don't remember that.
We did. We stopped off. We because McDonald's was like right, like 2 blocks away from Hart Chapel.
It sounds more realistic if we would have got Wendy's though, because I was right across the street.
That was right there. Yeah, maybe we did. Whatever. We brought fast food.
Yeah, I think that's probably because McDonald's we would have had to walk a little bit, and
Right.
that is also the crappy McDonald's that nobody wanted to eat at.
Unless you were like desperate when you lived in the dorms, but yeah, anytime I saw Super Size Me after college, if someone had brought it up, I always laughed and thought of that health class that Matt and I were never paying attention. We were always just shooting the breeze in our seats, talking. And then the teacher would always be looking at us like, guys, what the heck? And then she wouldn't let anybody sit next to each other during tests. And it's like, oh, we're not going to copy. It's health. Like, we know this material.
Or do we?
I don't know. I don't remember how I did. I'll have to check my transcript.
I passed. That's all that matters.
I passed as well. And yeah, a pass is a pass is a pass is a pass. Yeah.
But yeah, just Frank, any final comments here?
If you haven't watched Super Size Me, if anything, check it out just to see how large the portions used to be back. I think it was the late 90s, early 2000s. And if you're thinking that the portions are big now, you should go back and just to take a look. And I Morgan, the main guy that's in it who passed away, rest his soul, he's entertaining. In fact, I think he came out with a show after the fact where he was doing month-long challenges, and I don't know if it lasts very long. I never watched it, but
he did. Yeah, I don't think it lasted very long, but I do recall him doing that where he did different like monthly challenges.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely check it out. If this was a stream or botch, this would be a stream for me.
Same. And on that, we're going to go ahead and get into streamer botch. So just remember, guys, streamer botch is we're going to bring up things that we've seen recently or watched online on an app. It could be a movie we've gone to see. And technical difficulties here, or whether or not we thought it was a botch, right? And we'll tell you basically, don't watch this. Don't waste your time with it. So first one we have up here is X-Men 97. And Frank, I believe you watched this.
I did. And if you have been one of our faithful listeners, you might be thinking, wait a minute, X-Men, that's a superhero something. Frank, I thought you were against superhero something. I made an exception for X-Men 97. Guys, I grew up with the cartoon in the 90s, like most people of a certain age. I know Matt did. We talked about it. Maybe not on the show, but Matt and I have definitely talked about the old cartoon. Disney, yet again, and this show's on Disney Plus, decided to yet again prey on our nostalgia. And they're like, we're going to bring back the X-Men cartoon, but it's not going to be a reboot. It's going to be a continuation. We're going to set it in 1997, which I believe that's when the original run of the cartoon ended, and it picked up maybe like a couple months after the original cartoon ended. And boy, I got to tell you, I feel bad for the live action people that are going to eventually reboot the X-Men, because holy cow, this season, 10 episodes of X-Men 97 has set the bar so like stupidly high. Like stupid high. It is some of the best television I've watched with the superhero genre probably of all time. And it hit all the right notes, and they also understood that their core audience are now of, in their mid 30s. So the episodes were, they were definitely mature. I don't know if I would let my kid watch this one, because it got pretty intense in certain parts. They did the age old X-Men thing of, oh, this character's dead, only to be brought back a couple episodes later. But then they also did episodes where it's like, nope, that character is absolutely dead. There's just no way they're bringing him back. Or spoiler, one of the main X-Men does die, and it's awesome. It's probably the best episode of the season. But out of the 10 episodes, I would say only one episode was I on my phone just like kind of bored. All the other episodes were just like raising the bar, and the story was escalating. And back in the 90s, when this show had its original run, there was a Spider-Man cartoon out at the same time, which is similar animation. Matt and I also like and have talked about that. But the way that they did the story, they do these 3 to 5 part story arcs. And I remember, just if you missed a Saturday and you tuned in the following Saturday, you had no idea what was going on in the story.
You were screwed.
You were absolutely screwed. Like, you just had no idea what was going on. And this season ended with a 3-parter episode, and it was glorious. It just was so good. Definitely a stream for me.
So I gotta ask, how high is the bar now?
I got it. It's stupid high. It is stupid high. Kevin Feige doing the MCU. You think you're screwed if you missed a part of one of these story arc episodes? He's so screwed. There's no way he tops this cartoon. It was awesome.
And this had nothing to do with James Cameron, because he's always trying to raise the bar, and Randy Newman's out there trying to lower the bar.
Exactly. Yeah. And James Cameron didn't get his paws on this one. And part of the reason I think that it just was so cool was all the original voice actors that are still alive came back, and they did their roles, and they sounded a little older, whatever. I mean, it's been almost 30 years, Frank math, give or take. And I just thought that was cool. The stories were more mature. The action was awesome. The themes that they were trying to tackle really hit all the right notes. They didn't get too political. They were like, hey, we're gonna be serious, but we're still gonna have a good time. And I thought that was great. A standout moment for me was, this is a minor spoiler. If you've ever played the video game Capcom versus Marvel, it was a fighting game for PlayStation. Cyclops, his one big finishing move was his optic blast, like took up the full screen when he shot it out. There's a moment in one of the episodes where that does happen, and I was just like, holy cow, like these people did their homework and clearly have a love not only for the original cartoon, but for the source material and everything, all things X-Men. They just did a great job.
Yeah, I hear a lot of good things about it. I don't know. I just haven't found the time, or like just haven't just put it on. Sometimes, I know you and I both get like that with some shows.
Right.
It's definitely one that's like, it's been on my list. I don't know why. I tried to watch it the other day. I tried to put it on, and I was like, I'm just not in the mood for this. Like, and I need something else.
I think if I hadn't been not watching superhero things, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much as I did. And as much as I did like it, I'm still like, when the Marvel movies come, I'm still not probably going to go see that. I still am kind of at a very low interest in those. But, this was a 20 minutes out of my week for 10 weeks. And it was just a nice walk down memory lane. So for that, I thought it was well worth my time. But this by no means is bringing me back into wanting to watch superhero stuff.
Noted. So it's a
No,
stream for you.
absolutely a stream. Absolutely a stream.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I gotta check it out myself because I've heard from you and others good things about it. So definitely, it's on my list as
Well,
we.
move it up to the top of the list, okay?
Where the bar's at.
Yeah, stupid high. Yeah, yeah.
Well, next up, Furiosa. So this is the brand new Mad Max saga movie out in theaters right now. I personally saw this trailer and I was like, "There's no way I'm seeing that." I think Frank, you even originally thought that too until you went and saw it and have a different opinion. I,
It's
I'm just over this theme. Like,
Yeah, I got you. But I do think just hear me out on what I had to say about it. And I agree, Matt, he beat me to it. But a few episodes ago, when we were going over trailers of the movies that were coming out, I really put a lot of hate on the Furiosa trailer because it looked unfinished. The special effects, it looked almost cartoonish, and I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of Mad Max Fury Road, which came out 9 years ago, which really shocked me when I was like, how long? Because I saw, I kind of looked into it. I was like, okay, Furiosa is the prequel to Fury Road. How long ago was Fury Road? And it was 9 years. And I was like, holy cow, that 9 years went quick. But I wasn't the biggest fan of that movie, and it just seemed like everybody else other than Matt and I was just all about this movie. It won Oscars and 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Everybody said it's like the greatest action movie of all time. I disagree with like all that. I think it's a fine movie. But I'm gonna get more into that later. So Matt and I have a mutual friend that lives near me, and he just got back from his honeymoon, and we haven't seen each other for a few months, and he said, "Hey, let's go see a movie." And I said, "There's really nothing now." And he goes, "Oh, let's go see Furiosa on IMAX." And I said, I kind of not into wanting to see that. And he said, "I have free tickets through his Cinemark app. Let's just go." And I said, "Okay." So we went. And I went into this movie with no expectation whatsoever. And one of the reasons why I was not a big fan of Mad Max Fury Road is it was nothing but action. It was all spectacle. If that's your thing, then great. Then you probably loved it. But I need a little story. I need a little world building. And if your whole 2 hour runtime is just one long car chase, like after a while, I get a little numb to it. Like the spectacle just starts to get a little boring.
whoa, 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 whoa! You need some story.
I need some story, and you do too. Don't give me that. You're shut up. This is my streamer Botch right now. Okay.
Whoa, whoa!
Whoa.
Pump the brakes, Padawan.
No, I'm not your Padawan. Shut up. Let me finish. You're you're deflecting. Okay.
You lock it up.
You lock it up. Anyway, so basically all the criticisms I had about Fury Road, Furiosa fixed. It had a pretty decent story. They built the world. We really got to know the characters. A lot of characters show up from Fury Road that were just kind of briefly shown and hinted at, or they just were kind of just there. Now we have their backstories and their information, and I thought the movie was very entertaining. A little long. It was a little long. It could have been about 40 minutes shorter. But ultimately, the action was actually more aggressive and it hit harder. Like it kind of got a little gory at parts, and I think Fury Road could have benefited from not being one long car chase because the action was used sparingly here, and when it happened, it was like really great and memorable. Whereas would be like telling me their favorite part in Fury Road, and I'm just like, I have no idea what part that is. That just sounds like the movie. Like that could have been literally any part of the movie, you know. They really, I honestly thought Anya Taylor Joy, who plays the younger version of Furiosa, she was awesome. Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor, he shows up as the new villain, and he's outstanding. As like he's a great villain. I want to see him play more villains after this. Um, this doesn't really spoil anything, and this is my biggest criticism of the movie, but it leads directly into Fury Road. Like it's the day before Fury Road happens, that's where the movie ends. And I think it, that I mean, it's probably we're not going to get another one because it's bombing at the box office, which is a shame because it's good. But I think they should have not ended it there. I think they should have left room for potentially another movie with young Furiosa because it was that good and entertaining. But you know, like I said, it opened very poorly. So this will probably be the last Mad Max movie of this iteration. But I really liked it. I thought it was a stream. And then when I got home, I decided since it was on HBO Max, I gave Fury Road another watch. My opinion of it is still pretty much the same. I still don't think it's, you know, anything like amazing or great, but there are now certain parts of Fury Road that one make a lot more sense, and they now have built-in emotional beats because of the Furiosa movie. So I think Furiosa makes Fury Road a better movie, but it's still not like a great movie in my opinion. But definitely watch Furiosa. It's a stream.
So I mean, you might actually sold me on not seeing it at the box office, but watching this when it actually comes out. Um, the timeline makes absolutely no sense. Like, yeah, like the day before Fury Road. Come on, like this should be set maybe a few years or like
Right. I
yeah,
think they would have benefited if they would have done like the Solo approach, where Solo was set like a decade before A New Hope.
exactly,
But
exactly.
I will tell you though, Matt, this movie takes place over a period of 15 years, and it's broken up into parts, and we see Fury like adult Furiosa, the main, you know, Anya Taylor-Joy, she doesn't show up until about an hour into the movie. And
That's
it's
like it's like the Dark Knight Rises, right? Where's Batman?
for Batman. Yeah, no, Dark Knight Rises is infinitely better than this movie, but it was good. It honestly really surprised me. I really thought it was a well done movie. I would say when I saw what back 9 years ago, when I saw the trailers for Fury Road, this is what I was expecting. What Furiosa was. I was expecting more of what Furiosa was instead of just one long action scene. And there's some cool parts to Fury Road. Don't get me wrong. Like I will never rob it of that. But is it like this outstanding 99% greatest action movie of all time? No, not at all. I think Furiosa is a better movie. Um, and I've definitely seen better action movies than Fury Road. But if you're a fan of that movie, great. Watch it until you're blue in the face. Doesn't matter. But that's just my thought on it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like you saw it, man. That's your opinion. Like we always say, like everyone has their own thoughts and opinions on it. You actually have, basically convinced me to at least watch this once.
It
Uh,
will be, I mean, because you know, it's just like the box office. I'm sorry to interrupt you. The Fall Guy came out at the beginning
what
of
else?
May.
You've been interrupting me for our whole friendship.
You take. Um, the Fall Guy came out at the beginning of the month and is already streaming because it also bombed. So I'm kind of hoping Furiosa is streaming here shortly because I would buy this movie and watch it again. And it's Warner Brothers, so it will be on the movies anywhere. So I guess you're welcome.
Yeah, or you could just wait till it's on HBO.
Who knows what happened. I always say I'm gonna buy it and then I never like rarely do anymore.
Or sponsor.
This would be a great opportunity for the sponsor to fulfill his oath.
This is like Lord of the Rings now. We've banished you to the mountains.
I summon you now to fulfill your oath.
Right, right. Only the King of Gondor can summon me.
The blade was broken. It has been remade. We've seen that movie way too much.
Or not enough.
Not
Or
enough.
not.
Or not enough. All right, Matt, you wasted your time with the movie, and I even went ahead and because you told I was texting you, I was watching a really great movie from the 70s, Sorcerer, maybe more on that another episode. And I was like, man, I'm watching this movie. And he responds back, well, I'm watching this movie. It actually took me out of retirement to write a review of my movie just so I could let the world know Matt was wasting his time with. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I didn't realize that's where you were taking this.
Oh, yeah. Well, follow me down the rabbit hole, if you will.
But he's talking about Madam Web. So, and I've talked about this too. Sony, please, please stop ruining Spider-Man IP, intellectual property. Please. Just give it back to Marvel, give it back to Disney, and just let them handle it. And Sony said to me,
your punishment must be more severe.
And they released Madam Web. All right. Like if you've seen Morbius, and Morbius is bad. Okay. Madam Web is worse. And I didn't think that was possible. All right. So like I don't even know why I put this on. It was on Netflix. It was free. Yeah, it's not free. Like you have a subscription, right? But it's on Netflix. So I put it on and I'm watching it and I'm like, this is just so bad. Like the first of all, the villain, it looks like his voice is like audio dubbed. Like I don't know if this like if he's truly speaking English or if he can speak it. Like I should look this actor up. But you can see like his mouth moving, but the audio doesn't always like exactly match up with it. Right. And then on top of that, his costume is like a Spidey Venom suit. It's like red and black. Like it's like a darker Miles Morales like suit. Like it's like a dark red instead of like bright red.
Who's the villain supposed to be? Just curious. Is it someone that you and I would know, or is it some random?
I don't know if there like ever has been like a different like origin of Madam Web. Like I don't know like a lot of history on that character like outside of like the cartoon and stuff like we used to watch, right?
Right, right.
But the villain is basically him and Madam Web's mother. So she's like her mother's pregnant with her. They go to this like tropical like in South America, I believe, and they're looking for these spiders that the legend is they could help you kind of do like a lot of things, cure disease and give you strength and blah blah blah. And there's a
I
tribe.
see where this is going already. Oh my god, this is that. Without seeing the movie, this is so bad.
keep going and see if you can guess what it is because you probably can't. Go ahead.
Let me guess. Somehow these spiders are brought back, and Peter Parker gets bit by one eventually, or it's going to be this is the breed of spiders that make him Spider-Man.
Yeah, so on this in this world, right? They go to this country to find these spiders, and there's a tribe who actually like the rumor is they use these spiders as well, and the Madam Web's mom, who's pregnant with her, right? She finds one, and this guy who she hired to protect her down there, who's the villain, he kills everyone and takes the spider for himself. So she's sitting there dying, pregnant, and the tribe basically saves the baby's life, who ends up becoming Madam Web. And she's born with the spider abilities because they had the mom bit by the spider before she passed, and it kind of nature, right? But that's what happens, and so she's
No.
like she has this like accident, and it's like bringing all these abilities like to see the future, and it's just so bad.
Well,
It's so
that tracks. That tracks because she knows.
I
Yeah,
I
but like also, it kind of reminds me of a Green Lantern scenario. Like, just because it's cool in the comics or a cartoon doesn't mean it's going to translate well to screen. And
I
I
know.
remember when they announced a Madam Web movie, it's like, are they going to do a whole movie on Madam Web? If anything, she should be like a side character.
That's what I said. I was like, you should have just left this one alone. This
Right.
is just an appearance in a future Spider-Man movie. Like, just or you do a series, right? You do a spin-off series or something, and you build around this. I
Right.
just don't see where, like, they just need to stop doing this. Like, they're going to come out with Craven, and I'm going to do a ranking of Sony's Spider-Man movies from worst to best.
I think that's a shame because I saw the trailer for Craven and it looks probably as good as Morbius. Can't say compared to Madam Web. Haven't seen it. They could really do a great Craven movie if they wanted to, but clearly they were like, nah, not interested. Let's do a bad one. And that movie's not even out yet. And it just if you watch that trailer and just how they're portraying Craven, it's like, no, absolutely not.
I just don't understand what they're doing. Why do you keep doing this to me?
And not only that, you would think they'd learn because all these other movies that are not named Venom or Venom 2 have not made money. They've bombed, they've not done well, and yet they keep shoving them out. It's just like, guys, like I want to draw from your piggy bank because clearly it's bottomless,
Yeah, I just don't understand it. Like, and all you're doing is you're just ruining these characters and like people's opinions of them.
Well, and like let's say in the future in Tom Holland Spider-Man movies or whatever, we get in more if they reboot it again or whatever, and they finally have a storyline that would make sense for Madam Web to be there. They're gonna be like, well, Madam Web bombed. People clearly didn't like Madam Web. It's like, it's not that we don't like Madam Web. It's like we didn't like your Frankenstein crappy version of Madam Web.
Here's what they should do. They got to take a page out of X-Men 97 because if you recall, the Spider-Man show like randomly ended. It doesn't really have an ending.
Right.
They need to continue that.
Well, interesting you say that.
Oh, yeah?
Do you mind if I spoil a little something for you?
I don't care.
Spider-Man shows up. And Spider-Man also, he shows up once as Spider-Man. And if you recall how the Spider-Man cartoon ended, he was traveling through space and time with Madam Web to go find Mary Jane. Well, in the last episode, when the world was going to crap in X-Men 97, who should be standing on a street in New York City watching it all unfold on the television but Peter and Mary Jane? So obviously they found her. So they've alluded to the fact that they're going to do a similar cartoon show with Spider-Man, but call it Spider-Man 98. So
that's what we need.
That is what we need.
Cease and desist. I know you can't cease. It's your property, but cease and desist. Like,
let me tell you how to play with your toys.
I mean, for real though, like, just stop doing this. Stop ruining Spider-Man. All right, I'm over here with my Spider-Man shirt, with my Uncle Ben, with the Halo hat.
You're so dumb. No, but like, here's the thing, though. It's not that they're ruining these.
They're like, ruining it. No, it's ruined.
Now hold on. The Spider-Verse, though, those two cartoon movies, they haven't ruined that yet. They kind of ruined the Spider-Man movies until Marvel took over and brought it all back into good graces. But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like Warner Brothers. Sometimes when they're good, and when they're bad, they're so bad.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, so it is a botch. Do not waste your time watching this.
Avoid at all costs.
Yeah. Like, Frank, don't watch.
Oh, I would never watch this movie. But it's funny because last time
you're too good for superhero movies.
It's not that I'm too good for superhero movies, but it's interesting because you had talked about in a previous episode Aquaman 2, and when I was home a couple weeks ago visiting our non-sponsor, he decided to put it on, and I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I had a nap that was so awesome and memorable. Like, I need to write it down and be like, on this day, I had the best nap of all time thanks to Aquaman 2. So if you're looking to have a really good nap, you just put on Aquaman 2. I swear to you, you will be out in no time. And when you'll wake up, it'll be credits and you'll just feel so refreshed and great. And maybe a non-sponsor will be telling you that you missed the entire movie and you'll just be like, that's okay.
Well, what did he think of the movie?
He thought it was okay.
Well, that's why he doesn't have one of these podcasts.
I guess so. Maybe he sponsors us with a Furiosa. We'll talk nicely about him again.
Listen. It's Furiosa, not Furioso.
Furiosa.
All right. And next, we got Retro Counsel. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about Kingpin. So, if you guys recall, Retro Counsel is where we're going to give a retro recommendation, an older movie that Frank and I, basically have rewatched, and we want to recommend that you watch it because it's one that we enjoy and we constantly go back to. So, Kingpin on this one, just a great comedy, and if you haven't seen it, what it is it's a bullying comedy with Woody Harrelson, Bill Murray, and a few other people in there. But basically, what happens is Woody Harrelson is like this amateur bullying champion, and he goes against Bill Murray, back in the day, right? And he wins it, and Bill Murray gets all mad at him, and talks him into doing this side betting game, and Woody Harrelson loses his hand because Bill Murray basically leaves him there to kind of, they find out that they're really pro bowlers, and he leaves him there to basically take a beating, and the guys end up cutting off his hand, and he replaces it with a rubber hand. It's so funny throughout the movie.
Because he's got the hook too. He's just a hook underneath the rubber hand. Yeah.
Yeah, and it gets even better. Later on in the movie, they're calling him Rubber Man and stuff like that, and he gets a deal, endorsements from rubber companies and stuff like that. But so years pass by, and Woody Harrelson, because of this accident, he can't bowl anymore. So his life basically goes to in the gutter, and Bill Murray becomes this best bowler of all time.
He's like the Michael Jordan of bowling.
Yeah, right. So, Woody Harrelson finds, a prospect and says, hey, I could teach you a few things and you could be really good, and we could go to Reno and win this $1 million bowl-off competition. And that's what they do. It's about them traveling and getting there. And there's a bunch of, funny stuff that happens throughout.
Well, the funny thing about the prospect is he's Amish, and he's not really supposed to be bowling or living the lifestyle. And what's funny about it is Woody Harrelson, his typical Woody Harrelson role, introduces him to drugs and alcohol and all the things an Amish person probably wouldn't be caught dead doing. It's funny. I actually didn't rewatch this before because I've seen this one so many times, but it's just so funny. I think it's a movie that could really only exist in the 90s, or could only have been made in the 90s, just for the idea of it alone, the story and things like that. But man, it just has so many great moments. And I know this isn't a big thing, but I love how at the end with when they're back at the Amish farm or whatever, Blues Traveler shows up as the Amish band and plays they play Hook.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they do. It's the jokes are just nonstop in this movie.
Oh, it's rapid fire too. They're just constantly.
Yeah, as Frank was saying, the character's Amish, right? And he's like, well, I'm not allowed to do Woody Harrelson asks if he wants a coffee. And he's like, well, I'm not supposed to do stimulants, and coffee's a stimulant. And he's sitting there smoking a cigarette. He goes, well, what do you think cigarettes are? And he goes, oh, they are? One of an extra large coffee, 2 sugars, lots of lots of sugar, lots of cream, something like that, right? And he gets a big tattoo on his back, does all this crazy stuff.
I like it whenever they're sitting there and they're at a restroom somewhere, and Woody Harrelson's telling him all right, this is our new plan. This is where we're going to go. We're going to hit these spots, do this. And he's sitting there, the guy, it looks like he's sitting in a stall reading the paper, taking a crap, but really it's revealed he's sitting on a urinal. And it just it just has so many gags, you know, like that. It's just like so you never know what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, I mean, I laugh every time I watch this movie. I really enjoy it, and like you said, Frank, I've been watching actually a lot of comedies like lately, a lot of more raunchy comedies, and I would consider this kind of in that.
Oh, it's absolutely raunchy. There are some moments that I have some moments that I find really funny that I'm not going to bring up here. Like, go watch a movie yourself. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but like it really makes me miss the way that we used to make comedies, and
Right.
I just like you said, a lot of these movies like we've grown up with over the years, like Kingpin being one of them. It would never be made today.
Right.
Um,
And I'm not even going as far as saying like it wouldn't be made today because of the humor level or whatever. It's the concepts, the silly concepts, like this old bowler who has a hook hand that he covers up with a rubber hand is training an Amish prodigy, bowling prodigy. Like that's just not a movie you would see today or hear of today, you know.
but one of the best parts of the movie, and I do it a lot when I go bowling, and I know everyone always jokes about it, but the end bowling scene, Bill Murray, I think, has to hit like 3 strikes to win. And he goes for the final strike and he gets his ball out, and it's this like glass rose inside it, and he picks it up and he just holds it over his head, and his hair is combed over, but by that point it's all over the place, and he's just like shaking his head with crazy eyes.
So I feel as if there's probably somewhere exists in like the studio vault like a 4-hour cut of this movie with all the Bill Murray material that they probably are like, we got to cut this for time.
I need it. I absolutely need it,
Yeah.
because even his delivery of the ball, like his hand is like completely out. It's hilarious.
So Bill Murray, that scene that Matt's talking about, fun fact, he actually hit those 3 strikes as they were filming, and the audience reaction behind him is genuine and his reaction genuine too because he actually did it. But Bill Murray in this movie, Bill Murray is like a national treasure. We probably don't deserve him. I feel like he is the most Bill Murray in this movie. Like he is on the next level and a completely different planet in this movie. He's so off the wall.
Yeah, like one of the other jokes in the movie, right, is Woody Harrelson's character's name is Roy Munson, and they say you don't want to get Munson out there, and he's like, what do you mean Munson? What does that mean? He deserted, like a fool, and they're talking about him, right? So he turned his last name into an actual like adjective. But you were talking about the 3 strikes, like, and it just reminds me that Tobey Maguire actually caught all those lunch items on that tray.
He did. He did. Yeah. Back when Spider-Man movies were Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, Sony, bring me back.
If our 5 audience members haven't picked up on this, Matt does feel some type of way. Yeah, Kingpin. And it's funny. We kind of threw our sponsor under the bus a little bit with Aquaman, but he actually, this is one of his favorite comedies of all time. And I remember watching it with him when I became, when I was old enough to watch this movie, because it is a hard R for sure. But
so did he give you the title of master or no?
Oh God, shut up. Like enough with that.
Anyways, continue.
I remember watching it with him for the first time. I had never seen it. He goes, it was on like HBO or something. He goes, oh, we got to watch. You got to. You're gonna love this movie. And I just had no idea what was gonna happen. Like he gave me nothing. Like he did no description. He goes, just watch it, and I did, and I was just blown away by the absurdity of it all. And it's still to this day one of my favorite movie recommendations someone's ever given me. So, Dad, thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely would not Munson you.
I would.
Well, of course you would.
But yeah, it's definitely a high recommendation for me. Anytime I see it on one of the streaming platforms, I always tell my friends, people at work, I say, hey, if you're looking for a really funny comedy and you've not ever seen Kingpin, it's worth a watch.
Where did you watch it?
I believe this was on. I don't know. I think it was on Prime.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I know what I'm doing when I go back upstairs. Who knows? We'll see.
You know what? And actually, no, on Max,
Okay.
HBO.
No problem. I mean,
or whatever they're calling themselves.
yeah, this month. Oh gosh, pick a lane with your name.
But I
Yeah,
believe it was on Max, and that's where I was watching it.
it's funny. Retro Counsel. I feel like we were on Dan Aykroyd for a hot minute there. Maybe we segue to Bill Murray because there's so many great. We should do Stripes next for sure. Stripes is so funny.
We're just gonna go through the whole Ghostbusters cast. All right, so now we're on Bill Murray.
Yeah, we'll go Bill Murray.
We'll do Stripes. Maybe a little Zombieland because Woody Harrelson's in that too.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the first Zombieland, and I wasn't big on it, but the Bill Murray parts are funny.
That's all I'm talking about is the Bill Murray parts. We just watch those and review those parts.
Yeah, we're strictly the Bill Murray scenes, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, but we were even talking about the new Ghostbusters. Like when he shows up, it's hilarious,
dude. It went from being like this is okay to this is what we came for.
Yeah, exactly. But
I loved when he hit the wall, like he Fonzied the wall, and like that old bourbon bottle came out. He goes, "A little liquid courage, anyone?"
Yeah, right. But you could even do Caddyshack. There's tons of Bill Murray content out there.
Maybe this Christmas we'll touch on Scrooge. Who knows?
Yeah, just a little bit Bill Murray Neapolitan.
A little Neapolitan Bill Murray. That's not bad. Write that down. Put it next to that great nap I had with Aquaman 2.
But it's definitely like one I would recommend. Again, you go watch. I know Frank, you said it's one of your favorite comedies.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just when you were describing the plot, I was cracking up. I was just like, "Oh, it's so good."
I mean, I'm about to go downstairs and put this baby on again.
Why not? Why not? Let's call it a day. Don't even do the outro. Let's go watch this movie.
Who's stopping me? Right?
That's right. No one.
You listeners out there, guess what? You don't pay my bills. All right,
guys, don't take it out on the listeners. There's only like 4 of them.
You're right. I appreciate the 4 of you that listen.
Now,
except for the non-sponsor one. Speaking
of our listeners, I didn't know this person was a listener, but I had one of my friends, Ivan, over, him and his wife for a barbecue over Memorial Day weekend, and he got to see the little area where I record. And he was like, "This is where you record?" I said, yeah. And like, I could tell, like, it was like he was going on like a look behind the curtain, and it was like so lackluster for him. I was like, it's because if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, I have like this little like card table with a laptop and a mic and like a card, like a folding chair. It's so bad.
It's a sad look.
It's so sad. But like this is part of it now. Like if it's not sad, I don't want it.
Right. Yeah. And nobody watches anyways. No one cares. No. Yeah. You listen on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on a lot of different things, right? Check us out.
Yeah, we have a link tree.
Like, comment, and subscribe. All right, helps us out. Give us some feedback. Tell us if you watch Kingpin. Tell us if you liked X-Men '97. Tell us if you like Furiosa and you think that there's a nice balance of story and action, like Frank said, even though I don't believe he likes story. Tell us if you agree with me, which I already know you do. You don't even have to tell me that Madam Web was not good. All right.
Feel free to reach out on social media and make fun of Matt for wasting his time with that movie.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. I wasted my time with Aquaman 2 as well. So
I wasted my time with Morbius. I can't believe I watched that.
Yeah, and I've watched that one as well. But Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. We really appreciate those of you that do listen and that do
We
give
do.
us feedback. And hey, we'll catch you in the next one. Same streaming time, same streaming platform. Hey, everybody.